If they are going to launch at an average of 2003 PSF and anyone tells you that this is not an insane price, run. In this video, we will be diving deeper into whether you should or should not buy Lentor Modern. So the first reason why we should buy is because of the reputable developer, and in this case, we are talking about Guapoland. So Guapoland has been in the market for a really long time, and it's long enough for them to understand what consumers in Singapore want and are big enough to adapt to changing market preferences and needs. We have to understand that developers are also investors in the market, and they probably have already done enough research to place their bet to bid on the land and see the potential value that comes with that. So it's really a zero-sum game where only developers will make money. If developers do well, then consumers who take the leap will also stand to gain. We can see from the unique mix of this development, with 51% being the 3 or 4 bedrooms, leaning towards owner-occupants instead of being investor-heavy. So what I do think is worth highlighting is that the 2-bedroom plus flex comes in everyone's favorite dumbbell layout and flexible space with an enclosed kitchen with window. So I think this makes the 2-bedroom in this development enticing, not just for investors but also for family units. If you're someone who is worried about the current economic outlook, picking the right developer that is reputable and well established should give you the sense of security, as they're unlikely to go bust and will most likely deliver you the unit with quality. If you have been doing your research about Lentor Modern, you would probably already know about this first mover advantage that comes with it. So I've actually done another case study of another development that was launched in the past. Using similar characteristics, we can then project if this can be replicated. So the development that I've chosen is Tree House. It's as ulu as can get. It's also in the OCR, and back in 2010 when it was launched, they also promised upcoming connectivity of the downtown line that will be launched in 2015. There are also multiple GLS plots around this area and not exactly many new PTOs around this area. So if you don't already know, the private residential market in Singapore is supported by HDB upgraders, and if there's not a lot of new BTO flats around the area, it may be hard to project the potential of this area. But when we actually look deeper into how this property has been performing, you realize that Tree House is actually giving you the highest annualized capital gain out of the other launches that came after that. By all the disadvantages that Tree House has, it gives me a lot more confidence when it comes to Lentor Modern, and it's also a mixed development with all your basic shopping needs. And this is not something that residents in Lentor actually experience, as this area has been quiet for a really long time with all the amenities quite far away from them. Why you should not buy Lentor Modern? The first reason that comes to mind is the benchmark price. If they are going to launch at an average of 2003 PSF and anyone tells you that this is not an insane price, run. Coming in at an average of 2003 PSF is definitely going to be a benchmark price that's going to be set in the OCR, and it will not be easy to digest this kind of pricing in a location that has been quiet for a really long time. Being a first mover at a benchmark price is a double-edged sword. If it works out, you get to reap the profits much earlier, but if it doesn't, you need to make sure that you have that holding power to see things through. As a consumer, it's very important to understand and be okay with the extreme possibilities that comes with this choice. So here are some deeper thinking questions that you need to ask yourself. Are you prepared for a longer holding period? Have you explored all the other alternatives? Are there places where demand-supply dynamics could play out better? We have compiled a list of these alternatives, and if you'd like to grab a copy, drop us a text saying list and we will send it to you. The next thing that we also need to look at is that we are actually launching at a time of extremely low supply, which is why prices are high but not exactly unjustified. Just by looking at the pipeline supply of the private residential unit in Singapore, you can tell that the proportion of the supply is not in proportion to the demand of the market. Why do we say so? It's because CCR, being the smallest region, takes up 22% of the pipeline supply. The RCR, being the second biggest, is taking up 42% of the new supply coming in. And yet, in the OCR, where the bulk of the population is living in, only takes up about 36% of the pipeline supply. This is why the prices are high but not unjustified, because the supply in OCR is not meeting the organic demand. At the end of the day, new launches are designed to induce FOMO. The significant undersupply in the market at this point in time drives all the demand into very little new launches, which is why the first few launches earlier this year, Piccadilly Grand, Live at MB, and Amu Residences, were all sold more than 70% within the first day. In other words, developers have the power to adjust prices aggressively during launch day. And we have spoken to a few clients who have experienced buyer's remorse after entering into some of the previous few launches. It's actually important for consumers to go into a launch with a clear battle plan. And you have to set it before the launch day. On the day itself, if the prices does not fit your plan, you have to walk away. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I try my best to give an unbiased point of view and put a lot of effort into researching. If you have found this video useful, drop us a like, leave a comment down below, and I will see you next week.